Hi, Scott Orlin with Cinema-Magazin. If you remember earlier this year, like most of us, you were wowed by an incredible performance in the TV series Unorthodox by our guest, Shira Haas. Well, now you get a chance to do the same thing with a movie. It's called Asia, and it is coming out of Israel. So, Shira, first of all, congratulations. There have been so many movies that we have seen that have dealt with teen drama, that have dealt with mother-daughter relationships, that we've dealt with a character with an illness. And here we have all three of those components in the same story. Talk about navigating that.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, first of all, thank you for this introduction and for having me. I'm very happy to talk to you. Really, I was very excited and looking forward to it. And back to the subject. No, yeah, I mean, your question really brings me back to the first time I've read the script. And I know I might be an easy crier, like on screen, but not in real life. And I remember I could not stop my tears. And I was writing the director right after, and I knew it's something that I really wanted to do. Really, it was like a feeling that was stronger than I've ever felt before. And it's also because what you just said, it touches all these subjects, and some of them are very tough subjects, but at the same time, while dealing with this subject, it has so much empathy within it and so much love. I mean, it touches like a story about illness and death and grief in a way, but with so much life. It's actually not a story about death, but it is about life and living and about relationship with the people we're having, and how, in this case, the death and because the condition, it's what brings these two characters that without this wouldn't get as close as they are at the end. I'm sorry if it's spoilers for some people. Um, and that's just something that I think it's really like I hope I say it correctly, but it's kind of like the highest kind of like form of art in my eyes, to touch this subject and to bring it on the table and to talk about it, but still to do it with so much gentleness and empathy. And it touches so many subjects, like you said, but it is doing it in such a gentle and delicate way that it just feels right and moving, and it's really in the right amount of like range in all of these emotions. That's how I felt while reading it, and was really looking forward to play this role.
You know, when we meet your character, Vika, she's in the sweet spot of her teenage years. And those are the times where you get to kind of experience a sense of rebellion against to go out and try and find your own identity. And yet she is burdened with this other condition. And I thought it was such an incredible, restrictive moment for her, because she's not allowed to take that leap that everybody normally gets to take.
Yeah, definitely. It's really like, I remember collecting some references and pictures when I was working on this role. Really, I really dived into this one, and it's really like I always got back to like pictures and stuff of people. I mean, she is trapped in her own body, in really the years, like you just said, that you just want to break out and free. And this is also who Vika is, you know, and she's a bit rebellious, and she's really trapped in her own body. What makes her to go also beyond her years. I mean, I think a lot of times when I've read the script, and hopefully when you see the movie, also the two characters, the two actresses were very, very similar. And sometimes you're like, are they mother and daughter? Are they sisters? Who is the mother? You know, are they like friends? And I think it's also because of the dynamic of the characters, of course, but it's also because what Vika is going through. And in a way, she's getting what she's going through and what she's facing more than her mother. And it really makes her to shift, her mind to shift, and to be kind of like this woman, this person in charge, this to really be way beyond her years in like her maturity. And yeah, it's really in this 1.5 time of the movie, and like less than a year of the movie itself in the storytelling, she's going through, I feel like, things that we cannot even experience in a lifetime, I feel like.
What did you know about degenerative motor disease prior to this, and how did it inform you about controlling your own body as an actor?
I didn't know much. I knew a little bit, as much as a lot of us knew. And it did require a lot of research, of course. Um, I explored about it a lot online, research, and me and Ruti, the director, Ruti and I, we went to see doctors, and we also met a patient that has also ALS, and it was a very, very long process. By the way, just a fact that you don't even hear the word her disease one time in the movie. It's not like a movie about a disease or anything like that. That's what I really love. But at the same time, I wanted, and we wanted to be very, very specific in Vika's condition. And also because there are so many sometimes like jumps and time jumps in the script, and you suddenly see Vika in a different place, condition, I mean. And of course, we didn't shoot it chronological, obviously. So it was so important for me to be accurate and to be specific about every stage. I mean, every stage had its own color, and we had this chart that I knew exactly at what stage she is, and we had rehearsals, and I was working a lot alone about how she walks, about on her hands, even her talking at some point. And it was a very, for what you asked, was a very, very huge lesson, probably the biggest one that I had about like physicality within a character. And I feel like her also practically, like I've just mentioned, to do it, but also her physical condition in this project, really going on the same page and level with her emotional journey. So every time she kind of like understands something happening to her, it's definitely coming also with the physical thing that she's going through. So it was so amazing and mind-blowing for me to work on that. And it was a very, very long and hard work, but an amazing opportunity. And I've never played a character like this before. Physicality is always important for me, but here it was really crucial. So yeah, we went deep on that. I want to believe, hopefully.
Let's talk about sex, because it's really fascinating that you have these two women, mother and daughter. The mother's only 35, so she's really still in the prime of her of her life and of going on, and yet the mother tends to use sex as a way to desensitize herself, as a way to escape, and the daughter just wants to have sex for the first time to experience life.
Exactly. Yeah. It's always shifting. I mean, you also see Asya, you know, the mother at some points with the doctor, and then you cut to Vika with her story also in this physical and sex and all this subject, and it's all really, really parallel, if I say it correctly, with that. And yeah, I mean, there's this sentence that Vika is saying in the movie that her biggest fear, so-called, is to die a virgin. And I think, you know, and what's very interesting is that the biggest wish of Vika in this movie is to be closer to her mother, even if she doesn't say it out loud, and to be closer to her, also to get more connected to her, but also to be more like her. And she was raised with her mother that the physicality and sex is something so big, and she's an attractive woman. And even in a scene together where the bartender came and with her mother, Vika is a bit jealous. I mean, it's kind of like she was reflecting to her everything that she will never have. And one of these things is, of course, especially when you're a teenager, is really to be with someone. And this is like her biggest fear. And it makes so much sense that this is her fear regarding where she is in her life. But it also reflects the fear of not making to do something, the understanding that time is knocking, so it really covers it all. And at some point, this fear is kind of like going down, and what's important and real is coming up. And I think it's for both of the characters, also with Vika, also with what's going on with Roy, the boy in the beginning, and also with Gabi, and for Asya as well, what happens with the doctor in the hospital with Stas, and eventually you barely see these characters, you only see Asya and Vika. So, yeah.
I want you to have fun with this question. Part of the humor that is injected into the story is the refrigerator. That there's always a problem, and the way that you resolve it is you have to hit it on the side. So I was just wondering, what appliance do you have the most problem with? Has there been something that's driven you crazy in your own house?
Ooh, wow. Yeah, you know what? It's winter here in Israel. So every time I put the heat on, and I put also like I also do like on my phone that the water will be hot at the same time. All the electric here falls down, and it's like every time, every day, and it's driving me crazy. I don't have a solution for that. So every time you just need to choose hot water or like hot conditioner. So this one is really driving me crazy. But there are a lot of things I can think about more if you want me to.
And just a last question for you. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this piece about the phenomenal worldwide success of Unorthodox, that really brought you to the attention of a worldwide audience. In retrospect, how do you look back on that project now? What did Unorthodox mean to you?
Wow. You know, when you do a project, also when I did ASEAN, of course, when I did Unorthodox, and I'll explain it in a minute, but you almost forget that eventually it will get to audience. Not because the audience are not important, they are the most important, but I am at least, I'll talk on my behalf, I'm so like dedicated and into a project that you don't think about what will happen. You really within this character and this story. And then suddenly it's going out and people are reacting and you're like, oh yeah, of course, this is why I did it. To bring people to talk about it, to put things on the table. And with Unorthodox, it happened big time. I mean, I was not thinking about it, but I know a lot of us from the production and cast, I was not expecting that. I mean, I was reading the script and I felt like it's a universal story. You know, I'm secular and I found myself really relate and I found myself within ST. So I could only hope that more people will see it. But it happened like bigger than I ever thought. You know, people really from all over the world, and religious and secular and Muslims and Jewish and Christian, I mean, Argentina, UK, US, it's really touched so many people. So,
and you shot in Berlin, and as this is for Germany, do you still maintain any friends or contacts? Did you have a great restaurant or venues that you used to go to in Berlin?
You know, I still keep in touch with all of them basically, and I think the fact that we had this corona and we didn't like celebrate together like on a premiere, it made it even like us, like all of us, more closer to each other. We like have this WhatsApp group and we text each other all the time about anything, really. And as for like restaurants, I must admit, it was my first time in Germany when I shot Unorthodox, and I mean, I need to go back there when it will be possible because I didn't have enough like tourist experience. I was so busy. I was so busy. I remember I had this scene that Esty is coming and she's looking outside the window of the car and she's seeing Berlin for the first time and she's very moved. And it was almost real, but in an exaggerated way because I saw Berlin suddenly. It was like I was in this car in the scene. And it was like an hour and a half that we just traveled Berlin. And I finally saw the whole city, you know? So I definitely on my checklist and wish list, I need to go back to Berlin to explore like great restaurants. And if anyone or you have any recommendation, I would love to get it.
Shira, toda rabah. Thank you so much for sharing. The movie is called Asia, and look forward to seeing it. This is Scott. Till next time.
Thank you.